Elden Ring DLC just been announced, and I was just thought we'd speculate where in the world could it be. Now, looking at the image, you got the meadow sort of field, hay field, and then you've got the tree in the background. And Shadow of the Erdtree, you kind of think to yourself, is it post endgame? So is it after the Erdtree's burnt? Is it, you have to go through the story before you can access the DLC? Or is it the Halig tree type thing? Is it related to the Halig tree? Is it another tree? Because we do have the Halig tree, I suppose. Is that a different timeline? Because again, we go through the memories of the alternate through the town to get to the Halig tree in the first place. So is Halig tree at the same time as the normal game? So it's one of those things you could dissect in detail. And where could it be? Because you've got those mountainous regions here, all around the mountains. You've got plenty of cloud you can remove if you want to do that. Chances are they won't alter the map, although it was always speculated that there would be a fifth tower. So like this tower here. So like the Divine Tower there, you'd have, because they're surrounded, you've got the one tower, the tower. So you would, be logical to have something here, and there is a space in the game code. There's a flat spot where they can add something if they want to. Then of course you've got your your markers on the map, and you think about this could be connected to the underground. Could it be in the underground? So probably not, to be perfectly honest with you. We do have this area here in the Lake of Rot, which is unused. That could be the entranceway. There could be a new path created, and then you go through the Lake of Rot to access the new area, which maybe you go. Again, going by the wording, it is an expansion, so it's not a it's not a new game or anything like that. It's just a addition. So you have all this area here. Again, there's all mountainous regions. You've got boats. You've got the whole map to look at. But I think it's fair. Knowing the history, so we've got Crumbling Pharaohs all over there. Knowing the history of FromSoft, and when it comes to probably Dark Souls 3, I think is probably the one you look at. And that was a totally different zone. So it was a separate through the painting. In this case, we're in the future, so I'm not sure how we'll access it. But chances are it'll be in the capital. Somewhere in the capital. I think that'd be a good idea. Because the capital, I feel, could have a bit more questage type in it. There's really not any NPC interactions in there. Except for Gold Mask towards the, when you go up the tree and around the Colosseum and all that sort of stuff. So my money is either here, but then again, looking from the picture, it just doesn't seem like that's enough room. So chances are we teleport or we time travel. One of the two. So we could travel to the future, and the tree has completely disintegrated, and then say probably a good example, within reach of the tree, this whole area here gets covered in the soot debris, like the capital. You know how once you beat Malekith, you get this whole area fills up with soot, and I'm thinking maybe that degradation of the tree carries to the rest of the map, and so they just cover these whole areas in soot, and then it's regrown into fields, and they change the look of it, but they reuse the territory itself, the asset, and then they just rebuild another layer on top and get rid of the buildings, and then you just add new sort of dilapidated buildings and make it seem like it's a different area, but really you're reusing old asset, because that's what they do. They reuse a lot of assets, which is smart. You own the assets, you can use them again, you just have to slightly change them. So they say it's still in development, but from the image they showed with the rider on the torrent, whether that's Mikola or not, again, speculation. Why not? It could be Mikola. This whole thing could be about Mikola. Because it is kind of the thing where Moog, let's just go over there. Let's just bite the bullet. Oh, don't tell me I haven't beat it, Moog, on this character. That's some pure terror. Yeah. So yeah. It could be Mikola on the horse. I don't know. I think you could argue it either way in that sort of situation. But will we get to the root of the fingers, where they came from? Oh, Or we get more of Melina. That's probably the other one. Whether we get more Melina, and we can work out what happened to her. Is it like a continuation if you don't burn her at the Mountaintop of Giants? If you don't burn Melina at the Forge of the Giants, then is that the alternate sort of thing we were talking about? That's the alternate route, and then you can, she's trying to get revenge on you, and you fight her, and she turns into like a second phase boss thing. Or the other option, which is probably maybe won't be discussed by too many people. Who knows? But the Godskin Apostles, and they worship the Godskin Queen. So it's their religious, their greater message. You could possibly go that direction as a quest pathway. The other one is, of course, the Badlands, the Horaloo, and it could be that that's the Badlands. Could be. Shit. So we've got, a whole different... There's probably a couple more we could talk about. Rani's thing with the... I guess one was just Land of Darkness. Dung Eater. I kind of feel like the normal path of becoming Elden Lord, where you just sit on the chair yourself. It's probably the most easiest to transition. But this could be a before you finish the main, beat Elden Beast and Marika. Yeah, it could be. It could be before them. So we could have an alternate thing which we could access, but I feel like I feel like it'd be better. It would be better if the DLC is post beating the game, because then it sort of, I think, flows a little bit better in terms of your leveling, so you don't have to worry about over leveling. And then, of course, you can provide, it's probably just some unique talismans that'll have good effects, stuff we're missing. And probably a couple more armor sets that look nice. Probably not functionally better. Maybe we'll get one that's superior than all the others, but we'll probably get a few that are just different for different bonuses. Because I feel like the chest items in Elden Ring don't really have a lot of... There's not a lot of them with actual benefits, and mostly just helmets. So you got life regen on the skeleton armor, and then I think there's a couple others, but there's not many. And so probably we'll get more effects on weapons or armors. And some new weapons, of course. So think about all the weapons we're missing from Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 1. And then you can just add those. So they've still got them, the assets. So probably Demon Souls. Yeah. But yeah, so they've got plenty to work with. Again, the framework of the fundamentals of Elden Ring, I think, work well. So they could just pop you in a new area. How big will it be? Because realistically, you want it to be like as big as this. As big as Lake of Leonia. Leonia of the Lakes. So I think as big as that would be probably the way to go. Or do you want as big as the capital? Or like the starting zone? I don't know. I don't know what people will be satisfied with. This is where the trickiest part for any developer or any content creator, any person, is managing expectations. And it's whether or not they think, but from the looks of the image, it is a big open area, and then you have a lot of hay fields, wheat fields, and they look like, you could just cover a whole bunch of area, and you could have a huge swathe of area. And again, similar to like a Ghost of Tsushima, where you just make it look beautiful in these. You could have basic landscapes, but because you've stylized them in a way that looks nice and sort of fits with this scene and the aesthetic, that they fit, even though they don't have much in them. They just look nice, and they sort of just make sense. They just work. So that's where you sort of manage your assets. I think you have to have a castle. So there's going to have to be a castle, all of the staples, and multiple bosses, and probably the hardest bosses, because they'll look at Melania, and they'll look at Malekith, and they'll probably think, well, we may need to merge those two together. So you'd say Malekith's phase 2 could have more health and just give him life regen, and then you change it so he's straight in phase 2, there's no phase 1. You just take a Malekith second phase, double the health, give him life steal, and just alter the moveset, make him more of a humanoid, not the size of Melania, but a little bit bigger. And I think that'd be probably the way to go, that sort of thing. But they'll do a big one, they'll do a gimmicky one, maybe not. Thinking about it, there's not really many gimmicky bosses in DLC, is there? Not too many. Maybe in the older ones. But yeah, it should be pretty goddamn interesting to see. And whether it comes out 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, they're not really a they tend not to fire their shot unless they're ready, somewhat. So they wouldn't be showing anything if they weren't confident that what they'd made was of value. That's kind of what I've been take from FromSoft over the years. DLC's generally good, generally really good. Yeah, so I really enjoyed Dark Souls 3's DLCs, so I really did enjoy those. And when we talk Bloodborne DLC, it's really good as well. Orphan of Cause 2.0. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they do a bit more leaning into the Bloodborne aesthetic with bosses or not. Or they sort of... Because so many of the bosses really in Elden Ring are faith-based. So they have like holy sort of elements to them. Horaloo and Elden Beast and Marika. So again, you've got faith-based, then you've got rot-based, Melania, and you've got Radahn, who's affected by rot, and he's gravity-based. You're coming from Razula. We've got Dark Flame, eroding Dark Flame type with Malekith. And then you've got your magic in the Hogwarts. And then you've got, fused sort of fire mix. Fire and then faith and just annoying sword skills. Margit. So whether we need a contrast. So we need, again, we've got a bleed boss, Marg. We've got giant snake, fire and physical. What are we missing? And the answer to that, I think, is we have Frost Boss in Commander O'Neill. Probably a stronger Frost Boss. Maybe not a dragon, though. No dragon. I think we're dragoned out. Unless we get Dragon Transformation, whether we get any sort of game-changing mechanics, I'm not 100%. I wouldn't have thought so. Maybe we'll get changes to Torrent Skin. Horse skins, but apart from that, where could it be? Got room there, but it's got to be huge. So kind of one of the weird things about the game is that the Mountaintop of Giants and the Consecrated Snowfield, it kind of feels like the Mountaintop of Giants isn't that big, and the Consecrated Snowfield seems quite big, but when you look at the map, you're like, oh, they're not that big. They just don't have and Consecrated Snowfield has the open section, but the Mountaintop of Giants doesn't. Has just a layering of height, different elevations. And then like a Hobradaan area, this whole area, they're just for one fight, and then you got a little catacomb in there. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comments. Where do you reckon it'll be? Do you reckon it'll be in a separate whole other region, and you'll have to go from map to map? Do you think it'll be underground? It obviously won't be. I mean, from the image, it looks like it won't be, but they could just do night and day. They could do a lot more with the underground. Again, just don't worry about this map. It's a full comprehensive one. Do you think that'll have something to do with the rot here? How do you think we'll get there? Do you think we'll go into painting? A memory? Time travel? Yeah, I'm really interested. Like everyone is. So yeah. Ooh. We shall see. There'll be a new Great Rune. That's what they're gonna do. So it'll be at the boss at the end of that one have the Mikola, probably Mikola, and then have a new Great Rune. What would it do? Maybe restore FP incrementally, something like that, because that's something you'd actually weigh up equipping. New spells. Yeah, new spells. There should be new spells, new faith spells. Yeah, should be quite good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it. Everyone's looking forward to it. And I'll catch you next time. It's been Frosty by 10 speculating. Elden Ring DLC speculation. And I kept it short. Not 35 minutes. Nice and short. Where do you think it'll be? Separate zone? Must be a separate zone. Alright then. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.